Heidi ho, my peeps! Boy, I've got 3 videos coming out in 2 days. That's a personal best. um, okay, so today I'm coming to you to discuss my life and what is going to fill my life for the duration. I mean, into the foreseeable future, and that, of course, is my store. Um, I've been every day getting up in the morning. I make Grant some breakfast. It's so nice to have a man to make breakfast for. I love that because he appreciates it so much. Anyway, so I make breakfast and then I sit down here at my dining table, which is still my crafting table, and I churn out stuff. Some of it works and some of it doesn't. A lot of it is stuff I've never made before. So I'll see a pin on Pinterest or I'll see something in a catalog as inspiration, and I will go and make my own thing. And because I don't copy directly, I have to come up with my own spin on pretty much everything I see that I like. So, basically you're going back to square one on the design process with just an idea in your head about what you want to see. So, I've kicked out a few things I'm going to share with you, but I need your help. I got 17,500 of you out there, and I need your help. And what I need is some feedback about inventory, stuff that I should make to put in my store. I can do pretty much anything, so I can't necessarily do it well or better than the next guy, but when it comes to crafts, I pretty much cover I cover the playing field on, items and techniques and, all of that. So I have quite an extensive, over 600 pins, Pinterest board called Store Inventory, where I just save ideas that I think are interesting, or a lot of times it's a bit of an idea. I might save something like like an altered mason jar, but the thing I'm really saving in it is, let's say, the label. I like the way the label looks. So there's a lot of elements that I'm saving as well as full-on ideas. Again, I don't copy, not so much because I don't like to copy, and I don't, but it's more because I'm very strong-headed about my own ideas. So I'll see something, let's say an altered mason jar. Oh, that's interesting. And then I'll go and do my own thing that will end up not looking anything like the altered mason jar. Just remotely like it. So, bearing that in mind, anybody who is interested to go onto my Pinterest board, this is what it looks like. Whoa, that was ugly. There we go. Store inventory under Cheryl Coyote. Okay. Take a peek, and if there's anything that you think is particularly useful or interesting, something you would like to see me do my own take on, something that you would, if you were wandering around in a gift store and had a few extra bucks to spend, something that might draw your interest. So that's the kind of feedback I'm asking for. I need to narrow this down. I mean, I have got so many different kinds of crafts that I want to try, things I want to make for the store, but very I'm not very focused, and it would be helpful. So that's my request. Now, the next thing I want to do is show you the crafts that I have been working on. So I'm going to put on my crafting hat, which the lovely Leanne Live got for me. I think that's good. I like that. I love this thing. She also got me one in blue. And I'm going to show you what I've been doing lately. Okay, so the thing that I spent a couple of days on is this. It's a little altered baby shoe. Hold it like that. It says Snips and Snails on one side and Sugar and Spice on the other. So you can use it for a boy or a girl or anything in between. On the front it says Dream Baby. And then it's got all this embellishment on it and around it. It is a photo holder. You stick your photo in this little heart-shaped copper thing that's sticking up out of there. So this would be something like a grandmother gift, something you'd give somebody at a baby shower, that kind of thing. These little shoes, I found a ton of them at a yard sale one time, and I think the bag was $3, something like that. So I'm doing my decoupage of the tongue of the shoes now. I did these decoupage items last night, as well as a couple of more that have the music paper on them. And then I had one shoe that didn't really lend itself to decoupage all that well. This one I'm going to crackle paint in pink and do something real floofy with this as well. Or I might use aqua, I'm not sure, one or the other. I love both of those colors. So they are all going to be the same thing. They're all going to be photo holders. So that is that. Now, in addition to that, I've been working with wooden spools. Here's a small one that I've decoupaged sheet music to. Here is one I've kind of been messing around with. That has sheet music and then something else, a tissue paper thing on top of it, and then sheet music on the top. These are going to end up being photo holders of some kind or another. Here's one I finished. See, it's got the little thing coming up. You stick your photo in it. This says Memories, and it has my hair on it, like everything does. So that's the back side. Whoops. Front. Okay. So that's another little thingy. Like I said, my crafting runs the gamut. I do a lot of stuff that's frilly, kind of romantic, Victorian looking. I also do a lot of like farmhouse kind of stuff. You guys have already seen the crocheted things that I do and some of the weird little lapel pins I've been working on. So that's all real small work. In addition to that, I'm going to be doing large wooden signs. I had a great idea for a wooden sign. Let's see if I can find the thingy that I want to use. Here it is. Okay, so again, this is something I bought years, probably decades ago, probably that long ago. And I bought it just like this. And what it is a bag full of quilt squares, old quilt squares, and I do mean old. These things are all put together by hand. I'm guessing 1920s or so. There are quite a few different designs. I have some that are the same, and they're all, tattered and just as old and funky as they can be. But this is what I thought would be neat. I thought it would be neat. Oh, I love the colors on this one. This one is really tattered. I thought it would be neat to take a 12 by 12 piece of barn lumber and then take these things and with little tiny tacks, tack them to the barn lumber so that they're stretched out and form like the background on a piece of lumber. Then Mod Podge that so it's all stiff and shiny, and then then embellish it. Maybe put hooks to hang stuff on, large metal hooks, or maybe small hooks for keys. I want to do I want a collage on top of the quilt squares, so there'll be other things, sayings or photos or flowers. I mean, who knows? I'll do some sort of a design. Um, I was also thinking I would take the 12 by 12 wood with this quilt square decoupage to the back, and then do a three-dimensional heart out of, oh well, gosh, you could use all kinds of stuff. You could use little toys, you could use nuts and bolts, you could use dried flowers, you could use, fake flowers, you could use all manner of, you could use small kitchen items, attached and have it in the shape of a heart. So I've got a lot of ideas, and luckily for me, I have a lot of quilt squares. The other thing that was in this bag, I didn't notice it till I got it home. Oh, and incidentally, I think I paid $6 or something for this. Was this fabric. It says Waverly bonded fabric, etched leaves. Okay, isn't that neat? It has a real 50s pattern. Now, I don't know when this was made. I'll show you the typeface. A Waverly bonded fabric, etched leaves. All right. I'm thinking, and then it shows you which side is up, so you can orient the fabric correctly when you cut it. I'm guessing this is authentic from the 50s. It is an old piece of fabric, very musty smelling. It's a polished cotton. I have no idea how long Waverly has been making, decorator fabrics, but that was a find. I was real excited to find that. So I don't know what I'm going to do with it. When I see fabric like that, I always think aprons for some reason, because apron fabric always, at least the aprons that I inherited from my family, they are always made in that kind of like a small print or a calico print or something. So anyway, so I love that. Now, I want to say a thank you to my friend Cynthia at Old Broad. That's the name of her channel. I'm thanking her once again for the absolutely beautiful laces that she sent me. She sent a bunch of these antique, most of them are antique, laces, and they are just fabulous. She had bought them a long time ago, was going to do costuming or something with them, didn't, and she sent them to me as a gift, and I have been holding off. I didn't want to use them up until I had a really good reason. Well, now with store inventory due, look at this gorgeous lace. This is just beautiful. It is, I want to say it's machine made, because I cannot imagine somebody actually crocheting this. But I can't see the evidence of it being machine made. I'm assuming it was, but that little lattice work actually looks like single crochet. I mean, it looks like chain stitch. So anyhow, gorgeous stuff. And I used some of that on those photo holders that I showed you. I will use it sparingly. I want to make it go as far as I can. But it's just fabulous to be able to touch and work with something old like that. I love it. So what else have I been doing? Oh, the other thing, I was out digging around in my container, and I found this box of switch plate covers. Some of them are light switches, and a lot of them are electrical switches covers. And so I thought, well, what can I do with those? Well, I have a big box of napkins, so I pulled them out, and I've started making decoupaged switch plate covers. Very simple. I've only done 2 different styles so far, just these 2 different napkin styles. I love them both. Super simple. I'm not going to embellish them any more than this. This is it. And the idea is I wanted to make some stuff that I could sell pretty cheap, $3, $3 or $4, something like that. So let me show you some of the other napkins I'm going to work with. I thought this was beautiful. This reminds me of sort of a boho style design. And that will work really well on these big ones because it's a continuous pattern like a fabric, so I can use it easily on a large switch plate. I have a bunch of napkins that I'm not going to use, but I thought this was great. I also found this. I have loved this. I found this years ago at Dollar Tree, and Dollar Tree had an entire set of this stuff. Paper plates, napkins, cups, little boxes. I mean, all kinds of neat stuff with this motif. And this will look really good on a regular size switch plate. Then, of course, you saw this, which I've used, and this, which I've used. I also liked this. Again, this is another Dollar Tree from years ago. I thought it was beautiful. This one, I can't remember if this was Dollar Tree or Tuesday Morning, but I thought that was real neat as well. That'll make a lovely cover. This again is another Dollar Tree napkin. I think that will make a cute switch plate cover. And then here we go with that kind of a companion. Is it a yeah, it's sort of a companion to this one. So I thought that was pretty as well. So anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and decoupage up my switch plates. Grant was so funny. He comes in, he's like, "Oh, where'd you get these?" I said, "Oh, well, gosh, I got those years ago, blah, blah, blah." And he says, "The only thing." I said, "What? What, Mr. Buzzkill? What is the only thing?" And he says, "Well, the ones they make nowadays are made out of a flexible plastic so that you don't break them or chip them." And I'm like, "Dude, I've lived in houses all my life with these switch plate covers. I have never broken or chipped one. I'm sure I could if I wanted to, but I've never done it. So, don't rain on my parade. I think this is going to work fine." So, and for an ending retail of just a few bucks, I'm not going to stress about the fact that they're made out of a harder plastic. So anyway. Oh, God. You guys should hear our conversations. Our running conversation as we both sit out here in our dining room, living room, and do our thing and, edit each other's words and behavior. It's really funny. So anyhow, so I'm doing that. What else do I have lying around? I'm done with the flower thing. Got them all done. On Etsy, I found a seller who sells those little jeweled brooches, little pins. They use them a lot for wedding bouquets, and you see them a lot in wedding crafts. And they're really reasonable. The ones I found, it's 24 pieces for $9, and you can get them in silver, gold, or multicolor. And I thought the multicolor was super cool. So I ordered some of those to finish sticking the centers on these flowers that I made. So I feel like I've got a ton of inventory. I don't need any more of that. So I'm going to continue working on these. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 6. I've got 6 more of those little baby shoes to complete, then that'll be done. Okay, this is like way super gaudy, right? There's just a whole lot of stuff going on this, which is okay. There's nothing wrong with super gaudy, but I think I want to do a few that are a little bit more, a little bit simpler, even though there is a market for gaudy. I want to kind of cover the gambit. So, yeah. Same is true with this thing. That's just a whole lot of embellishment going on. So I'll probably do a few that are, less over the top. What else do I want to show you? Oh, Okay, so you saw that I made these little word strips, I guess you would call them, all right? And I made them from my, here, Grant got me this steel stamping set that has letters and numbers there, 1/8 inch letters. He got these from Harbor Freight for a few bucks. So he also got me a set that's bigger that I've managed to misplace. Anyway, so I thought, wow, I wonder if that'll stamp on fabric. So I went out to my fabric stash and I found some unbleached muslin that I had just recently laundered. And I tore off this narrow little strip and ran an iron over it. And then I used my archival ink and I just, stamped. How's it go? Yeah, one more time. I stamp out the word on this. So that's been real fun. Then I found another thing that I bought decades ago, put it away, haven't seen it since the day I brought it home. Well, now I know why I bought it. Inside of this unassuming little manila envelope, you will find a bunch of type letting. This is from probably a newspaper or something. And it's all different sizes. Some are real tiny, like the size, like 11-point type like you'd see in a newspaper. But then I also have some headline type as well, like this happens to be an M, maybe it's a W, I think it's an M. So I'm going to go through here and I'm going to separate out. Hopefully I have a full alphabet of this size because this is larger and bolder than what I used on the others. So I'm going to mess around with that today and figure that out. What did I do with that? Oh, there it is. Okay. Figure out if I've got a full-on alphabet. Even if I don't, if I've got letters that are about the same size, I'll mix the alphabet. In fact, I really like to mix the alphabet. So that's this afternoon's project. Yeah, so again, one more time, if you will please go to Cheryl Coyote on Pinterest, to my store inventory, it's not a playlist, board, and take a peek and see if you see anything there that you think would be good for me to start working on. So Grant's gone off to Costco and to the DMV. He's bringing back half and half, thank God, which means I can have my coffee and my tea again the way I like it, with half and half. And it's a beautiful day, and I hope all